Hello, happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome
Hello.
to the Abomination Goddess podcast. I am here with Casey Halsett. She is the author of Abomination Born, a fictional portrayal of her real life experience with the mystical realms. Her action-packed book is full of lessons and insights and calls for other Abomination Born folks in the world to start connecting. She is an award-winning public speaker, and I think that you'll find by watching this podcast and reading her books that she just effortlessly draws her audience into her world, both in her book and on the stage. So, welcome, Casey. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yay. My name is Ashley Kim. I am the author of a nonfiction book titled Villain Goddess. I wrote this book to help women on their journey to set boundaries, build confidence, and heal themselves. It is a very honest and open look at what I went through and the tools that I used to survive my villain era. And yeah, that's it. We are connecting each week and talking about anything and everything that tickles our fancy that other people might find weird or odd. And we are finding that slowly the world is kind of catching up with us, and other women are joining in on our conversations. And we will soon hopefully be having guests on our podcast as well. So it's getting exciting
Yay.
for us. Yay. Yes. All right. So it is snowing where you're at.
Yes, it is snowing. Beautiful.
Yes. Yes, I love it. We had a snowstorm and then just our we I think it's still -2 where I'm at. So the
Oh.
snow is staying for a while and it is so pretty. It's cold, but it's pretty. And if it's gonna be cold, then I'm glad it's at least pretty too.
I agree. Yeah.
Awesome. So how's your week going? Do we want to jump right into our cards and books and everything?
Yeah.
Okay, let me share my screen real quick. I say this every time. Show and tell's my favorite. Okay, let's go with what you have first. What do we want to jump into here?
Um, I took the dragon realm. You can start at the top left. Yeah. And just go all the way across. So this is what
Mhm.
I'm using is the wisdom of the dragon realms tarot cards.
And it has some runes on there too.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
And this is
wow.
the card that I pulled today, and it's 21, the universe. And
Hmm.
this means, okay, that is an eye. That's a dragon's eyeball that we're looking at.
Yeah.
And that means that we are at the end of a cycle. And we're always talking about the cycles and we're about ready to go into another one. And this is
Uh-huh.
saying that we are truly at the end of a cycle and we're ready to move on to the next level. And the dragon's eye says that you have found your way home. From here, a new journey begins. I
Ooh,
love that.
yes. Yeah, I love that. This is gorgeous.
I know. I just love this deck.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I can't get over this. I just want to keep looking at it. You know what's kind of cool too is I don't know why this reminded me of this. When you hold a baby with Down syndrome and you look in their eyes, it is like looking at the entire universe in their eyes. So, and I don't know why, but it kind of just reminded me of that, of holding those little babies and looking in their eyes and just seeing it's like every answer to the universe is inside of them. And so anyway, that was a whole tangent, but this reminds
They
me of that.
remember who that's right. They remember who they are.
Yeah, yes. Oh, I love it. Oh, and this is the
Yeah,
the
that's
description of
it,
it.
right, right.
Yeah, it's yes. My God, it's full of stars. I
Hmm.
love that.
Hmm.
Mm, very good. Oh, I love that so much. Okay, do we want to go to the stone or do we want to go
Yes, yeah.
to okay.
The stone. Yeah.
All right. Look at this gorgeous thing.
That's a turquoise.
Oh,
And
so pretty.
in the 21st house, as you're going with your tarot, this is the last one. And so that's turquoise. And for me, uh, turquoise lets me be who I am. So after I've gone through all this stuff in my life and I'm ready to start a new cycle, I'm finally, okay, this is who I am. Okay, this is what's happened. I'm okay with it. I'm ready.
Yes.
And
Oh, I
turquoise
love that.
reminds me of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, now turquoise is found in dry, arid areas where there's copper and gold and silver mines and things like that. And most of our
Okay.
turquoise came from southern Arizona.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. I
You
think
can
there
walk
was
around southern Arizona and just pick it up off the ground. It's just like little pebbles
what?
everywhere.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Oh,
Yeah.
that's an experience I would love to have.
Hmm.
Oh, yep. Excellent communication crystal, enhancing our ability to express ourselves effectively and authentically. Maybe that's why you feel
That's
so good. Yeah, that
that
authenticity.
that's my key of this whole thing. The dragon's eye is being your authentic self at who you are right now.
Hmm.
And after going through this whole cycle, this is who you are, and authentically, this is who I am right now, and that's why I love the jade.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. Very cool. And
And
then we
then this
have,
the last card, yeah, that's from the Art Magic.
okay,
That's
this is what the,
Molly Roberts does. She's a creative that's on YouTube, and
uh-huh,
I really enjoy her videos. It's really fun to watch her. And so
mhm.
she came up with a deck of cards, and I probably was one of the first people to order them. They were just so
Oh,
cute.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I love
the
that.
Oracle. And I pulled out today the scrying card, and
Ooh.
that is a scrying is where you're developing your intuition in however way you want to. You know how we talk about the different ways we take in inspiration from things, and that's
Mhm,
what this is telling us to do, is to open ourselves up and listen to, or know, or feel, or see, or smell everything.
mhm.
Open yourself
Yeah.
up because you're about to step onto another level. We're about to go around the spiral. And so for me, it's I know in my life I'm about to go on the next spiral.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's reminding me to open up, listen to
Yeah.
everything around me.
Yeah. I like that. And last week we were talking about how your body suddenly doesn't like certain foods or
Yeah.
or it does or things like that and how okay, I'm getting ready to go around a spiral again and for some reason this is part of it and I love that. Yes. And I think that comes with experience too as far as seeing the signs of when you're getting ready to go around the spiral again.
Hmm.
And
And some
so
spirals weren't fun,
yeah.
and some spirals going
Yeah.
around are fun, or,
Yeah.
they're, oh, that was interesting. They have, each time you go around, it's something, you might end up at the end with a thought or a word that describes the whole thing,
Uh-huh.
but you're
Yeah.
starting all over again.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. Love that. Um, okay. Oh, is this
That's
what's
that
this one?
that's the box that the
Oh,
Dragon
that it
Tarot
came in.
comes in.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, my
Yep, I
second
will.
book has dragons in it. I just love dragons.
Yes, I do too. Um, oh, this one. Did you say this was the second book?
Yeah, this is the book that comes with the tarot,
Oh, got it.
and
Yep, sorry.
yeah, and the
Yep.
other is the box.
Okay, that makes sense. I don't
Hmm.
know. My brain wasn't going there. Okay, so you were onto the dragons and I was onto the fairies.
I love that.
I ordered what I thought was secondhand. That's why I can't get this price sticker off the middle, so everybody just ignore that. But I thought I was getting the whole deck and everything, but I just got the book that goes with it, and I will order the deck. But that said, I am really enjoying this book. And so if you've never read it or seen it, I recommend picking it up. But one of the things I really liked in there was it was talking about different types of meditation. And so he called it contacting planet Earth. But what I liked about this is they describe it as humans having an energetic tail,
Yes.
and you can use that to balance yourself and to connect with the earth. And what I also liked about this is when you're getting ready to do this grounding exercise that he's walking you through, he's talking about spreading your feet shoulder width apart and, balancing yourself, distributing yourself equally on your heels. But then he said, you may find that balanced is not where you usually stand, and you might want to think about that. And I
And
thought that was super interesting.
the sentence just before that is gently rock back and forth a bit until
Yes.
you feel balance. And
Yeah.
always when I meditate or when I'm tapping into something, there's always movement going on. You may not see it
Mm,
on the outside of me, but I am moving. I'm either going in
yeah.
a spiral pattern with myself or I'm actually going forward and backward. You see kids who bang their head.
Yep.
Or there is something to that. And
Yeah.
I didn't know that other people don't do that. And now that you
Yeah.
brought this up, it's like, oh, yeah, that's how I
Yeah.
tap into things. There's a movement going on with me.
Yeah.
It,
Yep.
it is. And then you find your center,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes. And I thought this was interesting where he says balance might not be what you think it is,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I think that is so interesting. Um,
I
okay, let me
love
go
the
to the
tail idea too.
I
And
know.
all humans are initially have a tail.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. You're right.
Yeah, we have
Um,
tails.
so then the rest of the meditation, and I won't read the whole thing, but he basically talks about how you breathe in and have the energy go down to your tailbone, breathe out, you have the energy go back out. And you just do this regular breathing. Don't try to like do anything fancy. But once you get used to doing this, then you're going to bring the energy a little bit lower from your tailbone and then back up and a little bit lower and back up. You keep doing it until you're going down into the earth and coming back up. And so then he does talk a little bit about how you can use this energetic tail to connect with the earth, but you can also kind of play around with it and maybe connect to your plants or to rocks or like other things around you and just kind of see what that's like for you. So I thought that was really cool. I liked that
It's very
idea. And
cool.
yeah, I will be trying this. Um, that was in the back of the book. The other thing, this caught my eye um, so oops, Bodacious Bodak caught my eye when I was having some issues with some of the women in my family. And the women in my family, and I'm one of them, by the way, so I'm not just calling them out. We love to meddle. We love to have a solution to everyone else's problems without even wanting to focus on our own. It's like we love it so much. And that has been one of the things that I have been working on, just for myself. And as I work on it with myself, I get so angry or frustrated with family members who are still doing it. But it has been, anyway, I loved this and how he's being helpful, but really every time he tries to be helpful, he ends up making things worse. And just to like put a name to this, I don't know, this character trait that runs in my family, it helped me. And so now I can, when someone's starting to meddle, I can be like, oh, it's Bodacious Bodax here again. Um, so I just had to show that. I, obviously that's not what this book is for. It's not for you to go find the fairies that remind you of your family, but it did help me put a label to a character trait and something that I don't want to be. And it kind of made me giggle about him as well. And so this is a close up of Bodacious Bodak. So if anyone else has Mr. Bodak in
The
your family,
fixer.
yep,
The fixer.
there he is. This is the culprit. So you can tell him to leave anytime.
That's why we
uh,
make such good fixers in our jobs, whatever it is, we could
mhm.
fix things. It's just
Yeah,
we need to know where not to fix things.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yep, there's a difference between fixing and meddling, and we need to learn the difference. So then the last thing I had was the fairy spotting card, which um, I like the fairy oracle deck. It's not the same that
Hmm.
goes with that book that I was just showing you. This is another one, but we do a lot of things at our house for the fairies or for the house spirits too. And to the point where my 5-year-old leaves food out for the house and the house spirits so that they can, enjoy whatever we're enjoying. And yeah, I just love it. So I think the thing that I like about this is it's said that seeing is believing, but in fact, the opposite is true. Believing is seeing.
Yeah.
And I like that, you know, some religions will try to push you to, you can't see it, but you have to believe it, things like that. But I really do feel that when you tap into your own like spirituality and you trust yourself and how you connect with the universe, you actually do see it. And I kind of like how,
Yeah.
I don't know, with fairies, that flips. And so I like that.
And that's where my mom would come in, and she'd pat your hand,
Yes.
and she'd say, "It's okay. We're the real
Yeah.
people."
Yep. We're the real
We're the real
people.
people, and the real
Yes.
people see things. It's okay. We're the
Yes.
real people.
Yes. And that was, I think, the interesting thing on my journey is that I was raised in that you can't see it at all, but just know it's there. But then I was like, but I do see things. Like, what about what I do see? Or, things like that. And so um when I saw that card, I was like, yeah, I love that because, I can teach things that, like we talk about, our intuition comes in different forms. And so you might smell something and I don't, but that doesn't mean I don't believe you. It just means that that's not how I see things. I
Yeah,
might see things through
exactly.
feeling or knowing or, something else. And so it really is believing is seeing, but it's not the same kind of believing is seeing as what I was raised to believe in church, if that makes sense. So anyway, I love that card and I
I know,
like that card deck too.
exactly. I know I saw this young man, and immediately I knew where he came from. I knew his family and everything. And my other sister was talking with me, and I said, "Well, I know who he is. I know everything." And she said, "Well, how do you know him?" And I said, "Well, he's got that same smell." And
Yep.
right away, she was quiet. She knew I knew.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
there's because she's a real person too.
Hmm.
I love being authentic. So we come around this circle, and we're at the 21st, and we're being authentic, like the jade is trying to tell us to be who we are, or like being inside the dragon's eye. And the dragon's eye sees it all. But the
Yeah.
dragon's ready to go on another adventure. So we're
Yeah.
we're starting another adventure, but we're not the same person that we were before, because we become more and more ourselves.
Yeah. Yes. Which comes with so much more knowledge, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Knowledge and armor, like everything that we need for that next spiral, our next loop around that spiral. Yeah.
Can I can I bring up something about your book?
Oh, sure.
On this same topic, on page 102, you call that page "Build a Friend Checklist." I absolutely love "Build a Friend Checklist," and I immediately also substitute "Build a Career Checklist," "Build a
Hmm.
Life Checklist." You know,
Yeah.
everything that you want to do, and so you start off
Yeah.
with. Uh, so that's when you're at the 21st, and we're in the jade, or we're inside the dragon's eye, and we're about to embark on a new journey.
Hmm.
That's when we take this inventory of ourselves, and what do we want. So the first thing is, so what are your core values? That's what you're asking. And so then what happened in this last cycle around the tarot? What happened to change my
Oh,
core values? Who am I
yeah.
now? And then you ask, am I willing to invest time in whatever I need to do? And you look at the last cycle, and where did I lose time? Where did what was,
Yeah.
when was that not good time, or whatever? What am I willing to put towards it? So
Hmm.
as far as for me, I'm embarking on going out to metaphysical events,
Hmm.
and I'm looking at what am I investing my time into, so I can remain authentic. I can remain
Yeah.
myself and not get lost in these different things. Then you invest,
Oh, I like that.
yeah, then you ask, um, what kind of effort do you want to invest into it? So how much? So like, I always like to, when if we're going to be going to an event, I bring my husband with me, and he can go off, and he loves to be outside, so he can be outside, and I love to connect with people, and so
Yeah.
I'm I'm willing to invest that kind of time while he's going to be outside.
Yeah.
And being at peace, and he'll meet people out there, and then we meet the same people and bring them together, and we just have a wonderful time.
Yeah. Oh, I
And
love that.
you say on your checklist, you say boundaries. And I
Hmm.
know that anything that takes me out of that jade feeling where I'm
Hmm.
authentically me, that's my boundary.
Yeah.
Anything that's less than jade,
Yeah.
I'm going
Yeah.
higher, you know? And
Yep.
then you say, how am I going to handle conflict? So
Hmm.
I ask myself, well, I'll breathe. I'll do like you just said. And I'm going to add the tail in. What had
Yes.
I'm gonna make it a tail. Most of my meditation has been through my feet, but the tail feels more real to me for some
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
I'm
It
gonna
felt
do
real to
that.
me too, in almost like an
Yes.
uncomfortable way where it was like, what? Like, yes.
Why? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what am I gonna do for my personal growth? What would I want with this upcoming cycle?
Yeah.
And that one I'm going to think about a little bit. I'm going to have to meditate on that. And then
Hmm.
how am I going to treat others? You asked that on your checklist. I love this checklist because otherwise I wouldn't think of these things. So you've got
Yeah.
this checklist for me already made up. Thank you. And so how do I want to I want to treat everybody as if they're as high as a jade. They've got to be
Yeah.
that
Like
jade,
celebrate their authenticity too.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And they're or a dragon's eye. They're in that their
Mhm.
own dragon's eye.
Yep.
And then you asked two more things about sharing loyalty. And one of the things that I definitely will work on for sure is what I've always done is not to gossip. So if I
Oh,
meet
yeah.
one group of metaphysical women, I'm not going to gossip about another group of metaphysical people or whatever. Everyone's
Yeah.
on their own spiral, they're on their own
Yeah.
journey. And some people are starting out and others are way further than me.
Mhm.
And that's
Yeah.
just where we are. We're
Yeah.
each in our own jade. And the last thing you end on your whole list, which I just love,
Yeah.
is can I be myself? Can I
Yeah.
be authentic?
Right. And that's
Yeah.
huge.
And what I did was, I just love your book. What I did is I just opened the book to any old page. I just thought, okay, universe, what do I need? And so I opened, that's where it landed on page 102. And I was like, oh, yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Oh, yep. Yeah, those are all amazing answers too. And yeah, I'm also working on the not gossiping thing. I've been working on that for, I would say, a couple years. And yeah, I'm getting better at it. I first noticed that probably in my early 30s was how some women bonded, or I don't know, how they bonded
Yes,
together.
yes,
And I will say, gossiping as a whole, I think for women in general in history, that is how they saved themselves. It's how they told each other who wasn't safe to be around. It's how they use storytelling to help each other. But I do think that that has been kind of morphed into a hurtful thing. And that's what I didn't want to be a part of. I didn't want to connect with the women that was the only way they knew how to connect was through gossiping. Because first of all, I don't want to be that person, but also I know my turn's coming. I'm going to be the next person they talk about. And yeah, I just didn't want to be that. And it took me, I would say, kind of years of just feeling icky about it before I finally was like, okay, I'm just done. Like, I just can't do it. I'll listen to a story if somebody wants to, say something that happened to them, but as soon as it gets turned into like a gossip mill, then I'm done, and that's pretty much it. But it's hard to get out
swish
of that.
that tail, swish the dragon tail. I love that.
Oh, I love it too. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that is so exciting. I love all that. And yeah, I can't wait to hear how all of that goes for you with meeting the new people. And I think that one of the things I really admire about you is you do present in a very gentle way, present yourself very authentically. And it's kind of a take it or leave it. no pressure kind of a thing. And because of that, I have enjoyed being around the people that I know who are drawn to you as well. And it's just, I don't know, it does make a very good circle of people. So I admire that about you. And yeah, that's what I want to get to that as well. I'm a little bit more louder, but I'm probably not as gentle as you are when it comes to presenting who I am authentically. But yeah, I admire that about you, and that's my goal is to ease into situations as myself, just like you do. You do a good job.
Yeah, we have to be ourselves. Yeah.
Hmm.
Years ago when we lived in Sedona, I was surrounded by everybody who was kind of like me. And
Hmm.
and I it was fabulous.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
it
You
was
don't have to watch
fabulous.
what you say. Like,
No, yeah. We'd have 40 people over at the house, and Al would be like, "Oh yeah, no big. We're all meditating together, doing these different things together,"
yeah.
and that was just a normal thing. And then we moved to the Ozarks, and I was sent here by the bird. The
Hmm.
bird sent me here, said I had to be here, and during this time, I have gone around the cycle several different times and grown and grown and grown and grown. And so now I'm coming back out.
Huh? Yeah. It just never stops, does it?
Mm-mm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I would love to hear more just about that in general, because I know the bird flew in to your home in Arizona and showed you where you're going to live. Um, and you don't have to answer this. I don't know if this is an invasive question, but did the bird say why, or have you figured out why? I like, is it one of those things like you figure out the lesson as you go, or is it I'm sending you because of this, that kind of a thing?
Well, now that all this has happened, I've never really known why. I've just known that this is a really, I've seen way more spirits here in the Ozarks than I ever did out
Hmm.
west, and I thought a lot of them there. But here, I mean, like tribes of women spirits. I
Yeah.
mean, just thousands.
Wow.
Uh,
Yeah.
but I, I think that I was meant to be where I am right now, and I
Hmm.
would have never done all this back then. I would have
Hmm.
been led into things. I had been invited to go on to, before Gaia television was made,
Hmm.
um, people who were putting that together had talked with me. People who were doing different psychic kind of movies and things were talking with
Yeah.
me. All, and then there were a lot of other groups, and they were all going on things. And Al, each thing, Al's shoulders would go up. And
Oh, yeah.
he is extremely intuitive, and so he knows something that is not right. Not that what they were doing wasn't right. Wasn't for us.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So, when he comes home from work and I tell him, oh yeah, the bird, he knows what bird it is because we'd seen him several times before. The bird flew through the house, and I went inside of him and he took me to see this house. Well,
Yeah.
we're going to be moving. And so I gave him a terratella agate, of course, and I had him turn around and throw it backwards, and it landed on the map of the United States, one of those Rand McNally maps, and it landed in northern Arkansas. And so then I opened up the page to Arkansas, and he threw the terratella agate again, and
Yeah.
it landed in the Ozarks. And so I said, we're moving. And his shoulders didn't go up. Matter of fact, they came down. And
Oh,
he loved Sedona. He loves the high desert. I mean, we used to
yeah.
go hiking every full moon. I mean, we were out 3 a.m. We were out.
Yeah.
We'd bring groups of people out and experience all kinds of stuff. It was
Yes. Oh, that sounds
so much
wonderful.
fun. Yeah, it really was. But his shoulders came down.
Hmm.
So I knew, okay, so it's one thing to see where we're going to go because I actually saw the house and everything and the
Yeah.
property. I didn't know where it was, but the rock, of course, doesn't lie. It told us where to go. So we
Yep.
packed everything up into our old RV and sold the house. It sold immediately to another writer from Hollywood.
Oh my
And
goodness.
yeah, and then we came here. And
Yeah,
as soon as we drove down the road toward our house, we both knew this was it. And we hadn't even seen the property yet.
really. You just knew. Oh,
Hmm.
I love that. That gives me goosebumps.
Hmm. Hmm.
I love it so much. Well, I'm glad that this is where you are because we got to meet and we get to do our
Yeah,
podcast.
I think that, things happen to put us where we need to be at a time. And so many, well, not all, but a whole bunch of friends like, why Arkansas? Why would you move there? There's nothing there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know when to follow when we're being told where to go. I know
Yeah.
what to do. And then when Al's vibration tells me that he knows it too, then I know for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I really love that. Yeah, I love that on so many levels, just listening to where you're supposed to go and then the connectedness between you and Al, because you guys are tapped into each other on just different levels. So you can read each other, in ways that other people couldn't. So yeah, I love that whole story. Um,
And then, sometimes it's our animals. Like the day I was supposed to go the next day in the morning to San Francisco and from Sedona. And um, we had Wolfie at the time. He was just a puppy, but he just was going crazy, walking in circles and crying. And so I talked with him, and he said, I couldn't go. Don't go. Don't go.
yeah,
And so I called up this girl and I said, no, maybe later, but not now. Wolfie says no. And
yeah.
I said, "Yeah, I think he's trying to tell me that they're going to have an earthquake." And they
Oh,
did. That was the day they had the Oakland earthquake. It was
yeah,
just huge.
yeah.
And
Oh my
so
goodness.
sometimes it's not our spouse or maybe another person, but it could be our our pets.
Right,
I
right.
I didn't consider him as a pet. He was
Family.
just, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, that is a good reminder that the message can come, yeah, and from different beings or different forms or whatever. I think that's a great lesson.
Or
Yeah, I love that
rocks
story. Yeah,
or plants.
yes, definitely. Um, oh yeah, I love it. I cannot wait for your other books to come out too, because I know that you mix a bit more
Yes,
storytelling in with your real
yes.
stuff, which is love that too. So yeah, I'm so excited. And I was thinking too for our podcast will sprinkle in guests, but I think we should start diving in chapter by chapter and just kind of talk through your story in Abomination Born. But I think me, very selfishly, I want to go through it chapter by chapter anyway, just because I want your background information or your little side stories that go with
How it really
everything. And
happened.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think that would be fun. We could just do a read along with our listeners too, and just kind of go chapter by chapter and just kind of dive into it. And your storytelling makes it safe for other people to open themselves up to experiences and to accept that side of themselves. And that's one reason why I think your book is so important. And I hope it gets into the hands of younger people as well, just because how cool would it be to accept yourself at a younger age than learning how to do that when you're older? Um, so yeah, if it's okay with you, I was thinking we could start digging in and have a, chapter by chapter read along and
And yours, because like your book is just loaded with like things like this checklist, things to do. Very
yeah,
helpful. Very
okay. Yeah,
helpful.
we can do each week one of us and then yeah, we'll just kind of do both then. I
Hmm.
think that would be fun to do. So yeah. Okay. What are the lessons from today's podcast?
Being
I just
authentic.
like, yes, thank you. Being authentic. All I can picture is that dragon's eye right now. Like I can't even think
I
about
know.
anything else.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, yeah.
It's
Um,
full of stars. It's just full of the
yeah,
universe. We're part
yes,
of that.
yeah,
And we can think of the jade as representing that. Not that it's the same color, it's just that jade does help us to be authentic.
yeah, yeah. I
Remember
love
our
that.
traditions, remember who we really are.
Right,
And we're
right.
on a journey. And
Yes.
we're starting a new journey.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Start a new one with knowledge and more power and everything.
And I've got my
Yeah.
checklist.
Yes. And you have your checklist. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Be authentic. And yeah. And when you're authentic, you do meet the best people ever, who celebrate you and you can celebrate them. And I think that's why I love meeting with you and through the people that I've been meeting along the way. Once I decided to make those changes in my life as far as like how I show up for friends and how I select my friends. So yeah, I love that authenticity.
Yeah, and
Yay.
I think that everything happens so that we get to this moment right now. I mean,
Yeah,
you and I both, we met Katrina. She's our editor and fiction lab. She does the fiction lab for us, so we learn all the time about how to write better.
right.
And uh, we wouldn't be able to do it without someone like her. And then all the other people that are in the group, they're so kind.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think that we are where we are because of all the things we went through before, and that brings us right here.
Yeah. Yes. And how cool that we got to meet on this spiral instead of this one down
Yes,
here.
yes, yes.
I love that. Oh, awesome. Well, all right. I think, yeah, that's it for this week's podcast. Casey, thank you again for
Thank
always
you.
joining me and being one of the highlights of my week. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you very much.
Thank you. All right, everybody, we will see you next Wednesday.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.